Bruchim haboim, welcome everyone. We're about to begin Be'ezras Hashem together on Daf Nun Ches Amud Beis at the very top. Our Gemara continues to discuss brachos of Birkas Hashvach v'Hoido. Says the Gemara, Tana Rabbanan, bringing a Braisa, Haroye Bate Yisrael b'Yeshuvon. One who sees the Bate Knesios in their glory, Oimer Baruch Meitziv Gvul Almana. Blessed is the one who establishes borders for the Almana. Bechorbanan Oimer Baruch Dayan Ha'emes. However, in their destruction, he says a different bracha, Baruch Dayan Ha'emes, the destruction of the Bate Knesios. Bate Oivdei Koichavin b'Yeshuvon. If he sees the Bate of Oivdei Gilulim, they're based tefillah lahavdil in Yeshuvon. Oimer, he says, base Geim Yisach Hashem. He doesn't say a bracha, but he says a pasuk. Now the pasuk reads as follows, the pasuk in Mishlei. Base Geim Yisach Hashem. The arrogant houses Hashem uproots. V'yatzev Gevul Almana. And Hashem establishes the borders of the widow. That's a pasuk in Mishlei. So we already saw the seif of that pasuk in regards to somebody who sees the Bate Knesses of Yisrael b'Yeshuvon in their glory. Now the Gemara says, if you see, however, the Bate Ovdei Kochavim b'Yeshuvon, you say the other part, the seif, the ratio of that pasuk, Beis Geim Yisach Hashem, the house of the arrogant ones Hashem uproots. B'churbanon Oimer, he says the following pasuk. Keil nekamos Hashem, Keil nekamos Sophia. Hashem takes revenge. Hashem's revenge shall be Hoifia, shall appear. Now, there are others who learn differently. They learn that it's not going on the Bate Knesios of Yisrael or Lahavdil, the Bate Oivdei Gilulim, but rather they learn if you see a Bate Yisrael b'Yeshuvon, you see the wealthy ones of Yisrael and the communal leaders in their houses that are in glory during the Bayis Sheni, then you make this bracha Baruch Meitziv Gvul Almana. The opposite, unfortunately, if you see the Korbanon, then Baruch Dayan Ha'emes. Says our Gemara, Ula v'Rav Chizda havu ka'azli be'orcha. Ula, together with Chizda, were traveling on the road. Kimatu apischa debei Rav Chana bar Chaniloi. When they came to the doorway of Rav Chana bar Chaniloi, Nogad Rav Chizda ve'etnach. Rav Chizda, he extended a deep groan. Omar le Ula amaikom misnachas. Why are you groaning? You know that groaning, it breaks half a person's body. Shenema says in the pasuk, Ve'ato ben Adam, and you, O child of man, He'anach meshivron mosnayim v'goymer. The groaning shatters a person's loins. Thereby we learn from there the loins is halfway in between, in the middle of the person's body, and therefore half of a person's body is broken, is shattered as a result of groaning. Rabbi Yochanan Amar, kol gufo shel adam, even entire body, a person is shattered through groaning. Shenemaz, as it says in the pasuk, v'hoya ki yoimu elecho, al ma'ata nenach. Why are you groaning? V'al ma'ata el shmua ki bo v'nomas kol leiv v'goymer. Because I heard, and then he groaned, which says that all of the lave melted away. What does Rav say about this pasuk? Well, this pasuk is talking about the shmua of the destruction of the Beis Hamikdash. Such a groan then breaks an entire goof, but otherwise the regular groan breaks half the goof, like the pasuk before says. Omar le heichi lo etnach. So Ula says, so Rav Chizda says back to Ula, how can I not groan? Beisa dahavu bashisin afyosa biyamama. After all, The house of Rav Chana bar Chaniloi had 60 bakers during the day. Veshisin af Yosef Belelia, and another 60 bakers that were busy all night. Va'afyon lekol man desorich, and they would bake whatever is needed. V'lo shokol yada min kisa, desaver dilma asi ani bar toivim. He didn't even take out his hand out of his pockets, because he's afraid that maybe there was an ani, a deserving ani. Ve'adamatu lei lekisa kamachsif. If he would then, meanwhile, put his hand in the pocket, then that person, that ani, would be embarrassed. Vesu, and further, havu psichain le arba bavi la arba ruchasa de alma. He had 4 doorways at every direction, just like Avram Avinu, alav shalom. They called dahava ayil kofin nofik kisova. Whoever entered hungry, he left satisfied. Vahavu shodu lechiti v'sarei b'shnei b'soros avroi. He would throw out of the window, out of the doorway, wheat and barley. Why? They call mandek sifa milsa lemishka biyamama asi levishakel belelio. Those who would be embarrassed, they weren't accustomed to taking handouts, and they didn't want to take out the handouts during the day and be embarrassed. Rather, they would come in the dark of the night and take out the wheat and the barley that he would throw outside, alleviating him of that tsar, of that pain. Hashta nofel betila v'lo esnach. So Rav Chisda says, and now that his home is a heap of ruins, I should not groan. Omar lei, Ula said back to him, Hochi Omar b'yoichanon, miyoim shechora beis hamikdosh nigzera gzeiro al batein shel tzadikim sheyichrevu. From the time that Beis Hamikdash was destroyed, HaKadosh Baruch Hu made a gezeira on the house of the tzaddikim that they would be nechrav. Shene'emaz, it says, Ba'oiznai, in my ears I heard Hashem say the following, Hashem tzvokos, Im lo botim rabim l'shama, if not the houses of the rabbim would be desolate. You gedolim v'toivim me'en yoshiv, even the great ones and the good ones, they won't have a place to dwell. V'omar Rabbi Yochanan asir HaKadosh Baruch Hu lahachziron liyishuvon. And Rabbi Yochanan said, but in the future, they're going to then come back. Those houses will be then settled once again. Shenemar, it says, Shi'amal lois l'David haboitchim b'Hashem kehar Tzion. David HaMelech said, those who trust in Hashem, they're compared to those mountains of Tzion. Ma har Tzion osid HaKadosh Baruch Hu lahachziro liyishuvoi. Af botem shel tzadikim osid HaKadosh Baruch Hu lahachziro liyishuvon. Just like the Har Tzion, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to bring back and allow those to be resettled, so too the houses of Yisrael will be also brought back and be resettled. Chazye deloi miyashve daita. Ula saw that Rav Chisda still was not satisfied, his mind was not at ease. Omar lei, so Ula turned to him and said, Dayoi le'eved shekerabo. It's enough that the Eved should be like the master. If the master's house, the Beis HaMikdash, is destroyed, then our mourning over that loss shouldn't be any greater than the loss of the house of those Oivdei Hashem, like this great Eved Hashem, Rab Chana bar Chaniloi. Says the Gemara, bringing a brayso in regards to another bracha that we say. Tonu Rabbanan, Haroya Kivre Yisrael, one who sees the kvarim of Yisrael. Oimer, he says, Baruch Asher Yotzar Eschem Badin. Blessed is the one who created you with judgment. V'zon Eschem Badin. And he fed you with judgment. V'chilkel Eschem Badin. And he caused you to have sustenance with judgment. V'osaf Eschem Badin. And he gathered you in Bedin, with judgment. V'osid lahakimchem Badin. And also in the future is going to then stand you up in Tchias HaMeisim Badin. Marbred Ravina Misayim Ba Mishmed Rav Nachman. He added the following words to this bracha. V'yodeya mispar kulchem. And you, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, know the amount of all of the neshamos. V'hu osi lahachayoschem ulekayim eschem. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu, He's going to then ultimately make you alive once again. Tchias hamesim, Baruch mechaye hamesim. So that's a bracha one says when he sees Kivrei Yisrael. Either Torch Dalad Amos, if a person is a Kohen, he cannot enter the Beis HaKvaros, then he can say it from a distance. Kivrei Oivdei Koichavim, Oimer Boisha Imchem. In contrast, when one sees the Kvarim of Oivdei Koichavim, he says this pasuk, not a bracha, but a pasuk, which regard to Bavel, Boisha Imchem. But also over here, it's an embarrassment. You're an embarrassment to your mother. After all, look what took place of you. And there won't be any bracha, any good that's going to come out. Omer Rabbi Shua ben Levi, haroye es chaveiroi la'achar shloishim yoim. If a person sees a friend of his that he so beloved, is so beloved to him, and he has tremendous joy as a result of seeing that friend after 30 days, yoim, he says, Baruch shehechiyonu v'kiyamonu v'giyonu lazman hazeh. He makes the bracha of shehechiyonu. What happens if he doesn't see him until after 12 months? There's a different bracha to say. La'achar 12 chodesh, oimer Baruch mechaye hamesim. Omer Rav, ein hames mishtakach min halev. The mace is not forgotten from one's heart. Elo la'achar 12 chodesh. Only after 12 months. Shenemar is in the pasuk, Nishtakachti, kames. I was forgotten like a mace, says David HaMelech. Milev hayisi, kames milev, like a mace from a heart. Hayisi kekli ovid, I was like a lost vessel. And just like a vessel that is lost, after 12 months, it is forgotten. After all, we learn in another place that if a person finds an lost article, and he finds it, he must be machriz, he must announce that he found a lost article, so that the owner can then reclaim it. If he indeed finds it before Sukkot, then he has to machriz shalosh regalim. Let's say he finds it right after Sukkot, he'll machriz on Pesach, he'll machriz again on Shavuos, and once again on Sukkot. But after that, there's yush bailim. The owner of that article, of that lost article, already has yush, and therefore despairs of that object. So too when it comes to the mace is compared to the lost article, whereby a person forgets the mace to some degree after the 12 months. So therefore when a person then comes across a friend that is close to him, that elicits tremendous joy in his heart when he sees him again after 12 months, he makes the bracha Baruch mechaye hamesim. Says the Gemara the following incident: Rav Papa, Rav Huna, Bered, Rav Yoshua, Havu ka'azli ba'orcha. They're traveling on the road. Pagu bei b'Rav Chanina Bered, Rav Ika. They saw this tremendous sage named Rav Chanina Barei, the son of Rav Ika. Omru le, they said to him, Bahadi de chazinoch berchina alach tarti. Now that we see you, we're going to make the following two blessings upon you. First one, Baruch asher cholak mechachmosoi lireov. The first bracha, like we learned on Amud Aleph, is a bracha when you see a chacham shel Yisrael, shecholak mechachmosoi lireov. The second bracha for shechayonu, we haven't seen you over 30 days. Omru lohu, he said to them, Ananami, kevan de chazis nichu, chashav tinchu, ilavoy kish Shisin ribevon beis Yisrael ubarichna alaychu tlosa. He says, when I see you, I think that I must now make 3 brachos. What are the 3 brachos? Hanach tarti, the 2 that you had just mentioned. 1, shecholak mechachmasu lirev, when you say a chacham shel Yisrael. Number 2, shechayonu. And number 3, when seeing a group of 600,000 Jews standing together, you make the bracha Chacham Harazim, which we also learn in Amud Aleph. So now I'm going to make that bracha as well, because since that bracha means that there's all types of deos, all types of minds, and all types of things, of thoughts in those 600,000 people, all types of depths, Therefore, you, the two very wise men in front of me, have also all of those deyos included in them. And therefore, I'm going to say that bracha, Baruch Chacham Harazim. Omulei, they said to him, Chakimas kulihai, are you so wise? Yahavi be'einaihu v'shochiv. They put their eyes on him and he died. So some say that either he said such a bracha and it's inappropriate, it would be a bracha levatola, and therefore they looked upon him in such a way that caused him to die. Others say that they were saying that we didn't know that you were so wise that you even know chachmas hapartsuf. And by looking at our faces, you can see within ourselves what is going on behind the face inside of our minds. And you can say the bracha chacham harazim. They looked at him and they saw and posed an ayin hara on him, which caused him, unfortunately, the shochiv to die. Says the Gemara the following: Om Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi, haroya es havhakonim. Somebody who sees somebody who has unusual types of freckles. That means to say that he had been born in such a state that there's very red, strong freckles, and in between there's very white, glistening skin. Very unusual. Oimer says, Baruch Meshane Habrios. He makes this bracha, blesses Meshane Habrios, the one who makes diversity in his creations. Meisvei asked the Gemara, Ro'es HaKushi Ves HaGichor, one who sees a Kushi, one who sees somebody who's extremely red, Ves HaLakvon, or extremely white, Ves HaKipeach, this is explained to be somebody who has an unusual width that you don't even see the height. He looks maybe like a box. Ves HaNonos, somebody who's a dwarf, Ves HaDarnikos, somebody either described as somebody who has warts all over his body, or somebody who has a cleft lip. Oimer, you say the following bracha, Baruch Meshanes Habrios. Again, the same bracha that we mentioned before. Blessed somebody's Meshane es Habrios. The Brisa continues on. Ves HaKiteya, one who has both arms that were cut off, amputated. Ves HaSuma, somebody who is blind in both eyes. Ves Pitui Haroish. This refers to somebody who has hair that looks like it's clamped down on his head. Very unusual type of appearance. Ves hachiger, somebody who has an amputated leg. Ves hamuka shechin, somebody who has boils all over his body. Ves hamavchanim. Oh, and now we get back to the one who's the freckled one that we mentioned before, that has glistening white skin that is in between those red, strong freckles. Oimer boruch dayna emes. So we have a stira. At first we said that you make the bracha mishane habrios, and now this brisa teaches us that you make a different bracha, Baruch Dayan ha'emes. Answers the Gemara Lokasha, it's not a difficulty. Ha mime'ei imoy, ha basar de'is yalid. That which make a bracha of mishane habrios, that's when it's from the mother's womb. And that which make a bracha dayan ha'emes, that is once it was born and afterwards acquired this. Dekanami, you can medayik this also from the lashon of the brisa diktani dumya dekiteya shmamina. You can also see from the fact that it puts it together with a kiteya, somebody whose arm was amputated, or arms rather, both of his arms are amputated. Obviously that happened after he was born, and therefore this too was happening after he was born. And therefore a person says the bracha daina emes because of the tremendous tsar when seeing somebody who may have well been a result of punishment, of an onish mina shamayim. He sees such a person in that state. Also, if he was an amputated leg or boils all over, both eyes blinded, he makes the bracha Baruch Dayan ha'emes. The Gemara now brings another brisa telling us Ton Rabbanon haroya pil koif v'kifoif, somebody who sees an elephant, a monkey or a vulture, oimer boch meshane habrios, and these have in common that they have some sort of likeness to a human being's face. Ra briyos toivois v'ilonois toivois. A person sees beautiful briyos, whether it's a goy or even if it's a child. He sees that for the first time. He makes a bracha. Or he sees the Ilonos Tovos, beautiful Ilonos Tovos, unusual. He makes the bracha, Baruch shekacha loy be'olamo. Blessed is that which it is in his world. It's such in his world, blessing the Creator for making these beautiful things.